Here we go. All right, everybody, welcome to the Team Rhino call. This is January 20th of 2015. I'm really excited to be back on doing team calls with you guys. If you have been with us for a while, the last 13 weeks of 2014, all the team calls were done by other leaders on the team. Everybody got kind of a chance to be the leader of the week and do a team call and talk about a specific topic that was assigned to them or that they picked to do. And now it's kind of back in my hands for team calls, and I got to do one a couple weeks ago and last week, and we're talking about all kinds of new and exciting things for 2015, including our new on-demand streaming that is coming in March or April that I've been kind of testing out and looking through the last few weeks or the last week or so, plus the big boom of 90-10 nutrition groups that has happened here in January, and we're getting geared up for February. So a fair number of new coaches have come on the team here just in the first of the year, which is pretty typical actually of first of the year stuff, because it's a great time to become a coach. It's an amazing time to become a coach because the first of the year, there's a lot of people who are ready to make changes in their lives, and we can take advantage of that and take all their money. No, I'm kidding. We can take advantage of that and help all these people and show them the way that they can get fit in 2015, which I think is really important and awesome. So with that, I wanted to do 2 calls this week so that there's 2 different times so that nobody has any excuse not to get on this call and listen to the top things that you need to do consistently to be a successful team Beachbody coach. These are the things that I do on a consistent basis. I'll be the first to tell you that I'm not perfect about these things, that I don't do them every single day. And what I do notice, though, is that when I drop off of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of them for a significant amount of time, my business suffers because of it. And when I do them consistently, 4 or 5 of them consistently over and over and over again, my business does well. It's very interesting how it works. Like it just works. Okay, so you do these things consistently over and over. And I've said these things in a lot of different ways with a lot of different titles, but the way I'm going to talk about it to you guys today is we're going to use the term awesome. So I want you guys to think about what you do and how you live and what you are as awesome. And I don't mean that in a cocky way. I mean that in the most humble but enthusiastically sure of yourself kind of way that you can be, which that maybe those things seem to contradict each other to you, but they don't. You can be humble and be sure of yourself and confident and live an awesome life and invite others to be awesome with you. And that's the kind of the theme of this. So we're going to talk about making yourself more awesome every day. We're going to talk about giving away some of your awesomeness to other people every day. We're going to talk about inviting other people to be awesome in your awesome life with you. And we're going to talk about sharing your awesomeness with other people. So those are kind of that's just the theme of what I'm talking about. You can use whatever words you want, but I'm going to talk about being awesome because I think that it's really important to think of it that way. Like I just think about when I do these things, I think I'm just trying to be a little bit more awesome every day. And then I'm trying to give that away to other people and invite other people to be like that too. So let's start off with the first one. Number 1 thing that I do every day consistently is I try to make my body more awesome. This is part of being a product of the product, right? So I'm going to work out and I'm going to do Beachbody workouts, and maybe not always Beachbody workouts. I'm going to run, I'm going to bike, I'm going to swim, I'm going to take a class, I'm going to do Beachbody workouts. I'm going to do all that stuff and I'm going to do it consistently. And the point is to physically make myself more awesome. And this includes your internals. So Shakeology, proper nutrition, 90-10 eating, clean eating, real food, all that stuff. I'm going to do that on a daily basis. I'm going to eat good food. I'm going to work out. Okay. And I'm going to drink my Shakeology, which is part of eating good food, right? Because that's being a product of the product. Okay. So number 1 thing, that's a pretty simple one. I don't think we need to go into I don't need to ramble on and on and on about that, right? Most people are already doing that, but you have to do it consistently. You can't be, as a coach, you can't be off of your clean eating and your workouts for 3-4 months at a time. You just can't do that. You can't be on, off, on, off, on, off. Can you have a setback? Can you fall off a little bit and maybe you're not quite as clean as you should be and you gain 2 or 3 pounds and you're like, yeah, I need to get back on that? Absolutely. I do that all the time. My weight goes up and down a little bit, 5-10 pounds. I need to get a little more strict. I'm training for something I need to really hammer down, all that kind of stuff. Sure. But you're trying to make yourself physically more awesome every day. Okay. So that's number one. Shouldn't take too much to get with that one. Number 2, I'm trying to make my mind more awesome every day. Okay. So make yourself physically more awesome every day and then mentally more awesome every day. And how do I do that? Several ways. Mostly it's what we call personal development in the Beachbody world. It's reading books, listening to audio. But there's lots of other ways to do that too. If I was just to give you a few books to go after to all you new coaches who are listening to this, first few books I would read, Go Pro, which is a network marketing book by Eric Worre. Read it. Man, I'm losing it. Compound Effect. Woo. Compound Effect by, man, my mind is just, maybe I need a little more mental fitness. Yes, Darren Hardy. Kayla's mouthing it to me. I love it. I love you, Kayla. Darren Hardy, Compound Effect. Eric Worre, Go Pro. Those are the 2 that I would start with. Just start there. There's some other great ones like Start by John Acuff, and there's some great John Maxwell stuff out there about leadership, about growth, about failing forward. There's all kinds of good stuff. Eat That Frog is another great one by Brian Tracy. Tons of stuff that you can just wrap your mind around and let it just become better. It can change your attitude. Audio stuff by Jim Rohn, the 1-hour How to Build Your Network Marketing Business audio by Jim Rohn. You can find it in our Coach Online office in the Success tab. Search Jim Rohn, and there's like an 11-part series that ends up being about an hour. They're like 4 minutes a piece or something like that. And it's how to build your network marketing business. And every mindset thing that I know about doing this business that has made me successful is in that 1 hour. It's the most incredible audio for this business that you can get. That's personal development. I'll give you another example of personal development that some people don't consider as personal development as much. They just think it's reading rah books or listening to rah audio. And that's not really what it is at all. But another thing is stepping outside your comfort zone in what you do on a daily basis. For me, one of the best personal development things I ever did was I stepped out and got Insanity certified and started teaching live classes. Talk about stepping out of your comfort zone, getting up in front of people and teaching a fitness class. That is personal development. It increased my skills, right? It increased my skills. So find a way to do that. Then I stepped up and said, I'm going to teach a PiYo class too. And it's like, well, you already teach Insanity, but PiYo has choreography and music that you have to hit the beats on, and you're trying to cue, do the workout, and hit the beats all at the same time. And for me, that was a huge step. For somebody who, is a dancer or maybe teaches another class like Zumba, maybe no big deal. For me, it was another leap in personal development for me, where I learned new skills and I got more confidence in front of people because I was doing those things. And so now, like, when I do PiYo and all that kind of stuff, then I go like public speak in front of 300 or 400 people. I don't even get nervous anymore. Like, literally don't get nervous anymore, because I'm like, if I can get up in front of 20 people, do a workout while I'm cueing, while I'm hitting 8 counts in music, then I can get up here and tell my story in front of 350 or 400 people, no problem. Like, that's way less scary to me. And that's all from just stepping out of my comfort zone and getting better. Okay. So that's personal development. That's another side of personal development. But most of us, what we do on a daily basis is listen to 10 minutes of audio, read 10 pages, basically, of some kind of personal development book. It can even be the Bible. That's a personal development book. Absolutely. Okay. Even if you're not religious and that's not your thing, then that's maybe not your personal development book. But even if you're not, I personally think you can learn a lot of things from the Bible, even if you don't believe in God or whatever. So what's your personal development? Go find it. Go Pro, the Bible, Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Thank you. And then other ways to step out of your comfort zone. That's number 2. So we're making ourselves physically more awesome. We're making ourselves mentally more awesome every single day. Those are the first 2 things. And you're like, well, but we haven't even like made a sale yet. How is this coach training? Well, that's because if you're not getting more awesome every day, or if you're not improving yourself every day, you're going to have a really hard time helping other people improve. Okay, so you have to start there. You have to start with making yourself better every day. Jim Rohn's got some great quotes about that. And if I could, actually put them out for you, what you need to do is listen to that audio, because you're going to hear some of these things about how Jim Rohn talks about how making yourself better is where you need to start to help other people be better. Okay, so those are the first 2. I'm going to stop right here and just make a comment. Whenever you sit in a room and Chalene Johnson is up at the front, who, if you don't know who Chalene Johnson is, then I don't know. I'm not sure how you're a coach, but Chalene Johnson is the PiYo trainer and the Turbo Fire trainer, and she's an amazing, very smart businesswoman. She's not just a trainer. She's an incredible entrepreneur. And when she stands up in front of a group and talks, the first thing she says is, smart people take notes. So if you're on this call, look at that. Kayla's taking some notes. So smart people take notes. So if you haven't written down the first 2 things, you still have time to write down these first 2 things. Even though this is being recorded, the way you write your notes and the way you tell yourself what happened on this call is important. So get out some notes and take some notes. So number 1, physically more awesome. Number 2, mentally more awesome. Number 3, this is an interesting one. There's lots of different things that you can do here. But what I call it is giving away some of your awesomeness. Okay, so this is giving away some of your awesomeness. It's not the same as inviting other people to challenge groups, or inviting other people to buy a product, or inviting other people to do something. We'll get to that. But giving away some of your awesomeness every day is an important part of being an effective coach. How do I do that? One of the things that I do is when I read my personal development in the morning, if I find something in there that really strikes me, or I hear something on my audio that really strikes me, I give that away either by a message to 1 or 2 people, or I post it on my Facebook and I give away that little nugget of knowledge that I got. Okay, that's one way that I do that. So I get this quote out of a book that I read that I thought was just awesome. I put the quote on Facebook. I put my own words next to it and say, this is what this meant to me. I thought maybe it would help you or encourage you today. Here you go. Here's some of the stuff that I'm doing. Okay, that is an excellent way to give away some of your awesomeness. Another way, just find 2 or 3 people to encourage that day. Go find a couple people to encourage. Another way to give away your awesomeness, if you've got challenge groups going, go take care of your challenge groups every single day. You need to be doing that anyway, right? Is taking care of your challengers and the people that you're coaching already. You need to go take care of them, check in on them, see what's going on with them. So one of the things that Jim Rohn says in some of his audio is that your paycheck is determined by the value that you add to the marketplace. So it's not determined, like a lot of people think your paycheck is determined by your boss, right? And in your normal job. And in a lot of jobs, that is how your paycheck is determined. Your boss tells you how much you're going to make. It doesn't matter how much value you add to your company, you get a paycheck that is based on what they say you get. Some companies, depending on if you're a salesman and the more sales you make, the more you get, then maybe it's closer to being the more value you add to the marketplace, the more you get paid. But when you are an entrepreneur and when you own your own business, like you all do with this Beachbody coaching business, your paycheck is directly related to how much value you add to the marketplace. And so you have to think about, how do I add value to the marketplace? One of the ways that you add value to the marketplace is going and saying to your challengers, how can I help you? Or when you find something that's amazing that helps you, you share it with other people. Those are ways that you add value to the marketplace. And when you increase your own skills by becoming mentally more awesome and becoming physically more awesome, you have the ability to add more value to the marketplace. And when you add more to value to the marketplace, your paycheck goes up. It just does. It always does. Now that's, if you've got a really, really horrible business plan and no way to make money, then maybe that's not true. But fortunately with Beachbody, we have an amazing way to capture the paycheck when we add value to the marketplace. This is one of the things that I run into a lot with coaches, is that coaches are losing an inordinate amount of sales to other platforms like eBay, Amazon, Beachbody.com because of the payment plan, QVC, all these things where people can buy our products elsewhere. And I'm not talking about people who lose a sale here or there. I lose a sale here or there. That's totally fine. But what I try to tell coaches is that if you're showing people the value that you have to give them, then there's no reason why they're going to go to another place to buy the product, because what you're really selling them is you, the support that you can give, the value that you can add. You're not selling them Shakeology and PiYo. You're selling them an entire package, most of which is the community support, accountability, and value that you provide as a coach. Okay, so the more value you can provide as a coach, the more willing people are to buy Shakeology, to buy PiYo, to pay you for that value that you add to the marketplace. Okay, so give away some of your awesomeness every day. That can be done on Facebook, on social media posts, on messages. And just to clarify, running posting on Facebook, I have a challenge group starting on so-and-so, you should join it, is not giving away your awesomeness. That's marketing, and marketing's fine. You can do marketing every once in a while, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about giving away some of the things that you've learned, giving away the knowledge that you have, giving away the awesomeness that you've attained. Okay. Last thing here, invite and share your awesomeness with people. In other words, invite them to be awesome with you. So this is the part where you've given away your awesomeness. You've made yourself more awesome. Now you're telling people that are interested, people that come and see the awesomeness. You're saying, come join this challenge with me. Come learn about clean eating with me. Come learn about coaching with me. Come do the things that I'm doing, that you see me doing every single day consistently, that you're so attracted to. And you don't maybe say it like that, but you guys know what I mean? Like, this is the part where like I've told a lot of you, have yourself a list of 30 or 40 people that you think would be amazing at this and you think would want to do this, and go have conversations with them, share with them what you're doing, and then invite them to come with you to share in the awesomeness. So if you really believe that the things that we're doing as coaches and the things that you've been involved with as you've been a coach or as you've been a customer are awesome, then you need to be enthusiastic about that. Go share that with other people, show it to other people, and then invite them to come with you. Come along with me and go do this thing. Okay, so that's the last thing that you need to be doing on a regular basis. So we have covered the 3 vital behaviors plus a little bit more in this short little training on what to do to be a coach consistently on a daily basis. The 3 vital behaviors from Beachbody are personal development. Actually, I think that's not the right order. I think the first one is invite, which is what our last one was. I put that last, invite. Be a product of the product, which is what we talked about, physically and mentally becoming more awesome, and personal development, which is what we talked about already too. Okay, so we've covered that. Plus we've added in give away some of your awesomeness, because I think that that's really important to go out there and just share things with other people for free and not expect anything in return. Just give it away. Okay, I'm going to unmute everybody, because I've gone through this actually a lot faster than I thought I would, which maybe that's good for you guys. Maybe you're like, yes, it's not rambling too much. But I've unmuted everybody, and I want to discuss this stuff. I want you guys to say, okay, give me some more on this, because, how much, I'm not sure how much details you guys want on it, but that's the overarching. These are the four major things that you need to be doing every single day to be a successful coach. And does it sound too simple or what? Go for it.
It sounds simple at all. It's I kind of live my life. This is Michelle, by the way, because I do have my side business, and I started a mentoring group at work a few years ago, and recently just got a text message from somebody who said, you know what, 3 years later, and I want to let you know your words of encouragement have finally come to fruition. So I am a true believer in everything you just said here, and I can see how it can apply with trying to help someone make that choice in their life. So I spot on with everything you said. That it's
Cool.
refreshing hearing it in a different light and a different perspective.
Awesome. So that was a little scratchy for me, but I don't know if everybody else could hear very well. But from what I got, you were saying that you've been doing a side business for a while, and you've gotten some text messages from some people about your words of encouragement that you've done, and that you were agreeing with basically what I said about that, and you were excited to apply this to the Beachbody side of things, right? That the gist of it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just say that, to echo that, same thing. I get more business from just sharing my story and sharing some of the things that I do than trying to hard sell it. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a big deal.
Absolutely. People are so attracted to the life that you live and the things that you do, if you do them consistently, that you don't need to sell in this business. You need to just share what you're doing. But if you're not doing it consistently, then you can't do it that way. You got to be doing it. What else?
I guess I have one. So you said you want to make a list of 30 to 40 people who you think would be great at this. And I'm guessing that's mostly from Facebook friends. And if you haven't contacted someone in a while, I guess, what would you say is the best way to strike up a conversation with someone you haven't spoken to in maybe 1 or 2 years?
Oh, yeah. So I would be really patient with somebody I haven't spoken to, and specifically not bring up the Beachbody business or anything unless they ask you, well, so let me give you a scenario, like you just message somebody and you're like, man, I haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on with you? I just thought I'd say, hey, and reconnect with you, and you actually have to have the mindset that that's what you're trying to do, is reconnect with the person, not how can I slip this Beachbody conversation in, right? And that's sometimes hard, but, really like have that no agenda of trying to slip the conversation in, especially at first. And then if they ask you what's new in your life, feel free to mention that you've started this new Beachbody thing and you're excited about it, but don't do that in a way that's like, and let me share it with you, and I have a challenge group, and please join my challenge group, and just be like, yeah, life's going good, and I started a new business as a Beachbody coach that I'm pretty excited about, and and a couple other things about your life that are going on. And sometimes people will immediately bite onto that new Beachbody business thing, and they'll let you talk about it. If they skip over it and they go to, you said something about your kids too, or your wife or something like that, and they start talking about that, then talk about that and let the conversation just kind of go. Don't try to force that Beachbody side of it. But that's what I do, is I'm always sticking in that little, one of the things that's going on in my life right now is my Beachbody business is going fantastic. Like, I'm super excited about this year, and let them decide if that's interesting or not, I guess.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I have an example, a recent example where I had a fraternity brother that, I've been out of school for like 10 years now, or more, 15, I guess. And he called me up just out of the blue. He Facebooked me and said, hey, I've been up and down on my weight, and, I see the things that you're posting about 90-10, and he signed up for Ryan's free group, and just, I just let the conversation go.
Yeah.
Whatever direction, it ended up steering that way, and boom, he has a challenge pack. He's eating right, and all of a sudden, things are just turned around. He's like, I want to get on this healthy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
We just share with him. But, you know, he maybe is watching me for 6 months. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Just sharing and, you know, letting the conversation go where it needs to. And when it seems like it's the right time to mention something, then you kind of know. I mean, like Lori's on this call. Lori is my dental hygienist, and I probably got my teeth cleaned 5 times before I ever said anything like, well, you should become a coach, you know? And I think it was just like a consistent, you know, sharing of life, and it just, eventually it comes up, you know, and
just trying to let it be as natural as possible. Basically.
Let it be as natural as possible. Don't be scared of it either, though, too. Like, it's part of your life. Don't run from it, but don't try to force it. Like, if you said, hey, yeah, well, you know, this new Beachbody business is pretty cool, and my kids are doing well with school, and they're in swim lessons or whatever, and they go, oh yeah, how are swim lessons go? Don't try to force it back to the Beachbody thing.
Yeah.
Just you know, let it go. And then another thing they might ask you might bring up that you're getting ready to do a 90X pre-workout, so you got to go, and they might be interested in that. You know, I don't know.
Okay.
Just let it go.
You know, Ryan, a lot of times when I mention Beachbody, people go right to the cost of it, and that's kind of, you know, a hurdle for me to try to convey that to me, it's not really the cost. It's, you know, is it life, or is it, you know, the cost of a paycheck kind of thing for me? And I don't quite know how to be gentle about coming off about, you know, like, well, do you want to die at 50, or do you want to, you know, pay $90 a month for some Shakeology, you know?
Yeah, that's a tough
that
one.
Part
you know what I usually feel like is that if cost has come up, if cost has come up and it's an issue, a lot of times what I find out is that it came up too early. Like, the conversation went to cost and stuff too early. Like, there wasn't enough talking about what they really want before the cost came up. And sometimes you can't avoid it. Like, sometimes people are like, hey, you do that Beachbody stuff, how much does that cost? And you're like, oh, holy crap. Well, I didn't want to take that there yet, but yeah, I'll tell you how much it costs, you know, and then start talking about some stories. But a lot of times, like, I kind of have this like unwritten goal that if I can get people to the point where I'm like in the Beachbody app sending them a challenge pack and we haven't talked about cost yet, then I know that I did a really, really good job of working through what they actually want and connecting them with the solution that I have for them, that it fits it will solve what they want to solve. And if you really do an amazing job of that, which you can't do with everyone because some people just block you from doing it, but if you do it with someone, the cost almost doesn't matter. Like, it almost doesn't matter to people. Unless they're just like, like if they're on food stamps, then it matters. But if they're not, then usually it just doesn't matter that much, you know?
Yeah, like when I talk about Shakeology, I break it down in like an everyday cost or a weekly cost. And, you know, it gets people a little bit interested. And then kind of when they do the math, they're like, well, oh, wait, hold on. That's, you know, over $100 a month. And I was like, well, you can, you know, think about going to Starbucks every day. You're spending $5 a day on a latte.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
so if you can,
try going that angle.
Right. But so if you can get the information about what they do on a daily basis before you talk about cost, like if you can find out that they eat at the cafeteria at work 4 times a week for $8 before you've broken down cost for them. Like, if you're just talking, you're like, oh, well, how do you eat now? You know, what does a typical day of nutrition look like for you? And they break it down for you. And they're like, yeah, you know, most days I don't eat breakfast. Like, one guy did this just to me the other day. I was like, what does it look like for you? And he's like, well, most days I don't eat breakfast. I just hop on the bus to work and it's like 5 a.m. And then I don't really have any breakfast with me. And when I get to work, I start to get hungry, like at least 2 to 3 days out of 5 days a week. I get hungry before lunch, and so I'll go to the cafeteria at work and I'll get like biscuits and gravy or something like that. And right there I'm like, whoa, how much does biscuits and gravy cost at the cafeteria at work? And I'm not going to tie it in anything yet. I'm just going to ask them, and they'll be like, oh, I don't know, like most of them don't even actually know. because they don't pay attention to how much they're spending. They just want biscuits and gravy, right? So they're just going to buy it. Like, don't you guys do that? I do that all the time. I'll like, well, I'm getting breakfast. It's biscuits and gravy, and I go through the line, and whatever it is, you pay it, and you just move on, right? I mean, unless you're on a serious tight budget, that's how people operate, and they throw out the credit card or whatever. And so he told me that, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now what happens at lunch? He's like, well, most days I try to bring a lunch, but then probably 2 days or 3 days a week, there's no leftovers like from the night before. And so I'll grab something from the cafeteria. So now we have anywhere between 3 and 5 days a week at $7 grab from the cafeteria is his normal routine. So now I've got, 5 days a week, $7 is, $35 that he spends a week on food that he knows is unhealthy, doesn't want to eat, doesn't even like it, but that's what he spends his money on. Now, when we get to the cost of Shakeology, if he tells me it's too expensive to spend $4 on a meal, he feels silly because he just told me that he spends, on average $5 to $7 a day on food he doesn't even like and knows is unhealthy. And so,
right, okay.
So if you can get, you can't always, I don't mean to tell you if you don't get there before you get that information, you did it wrong, because sometimes you can't. But if you can, you kind of try to pull that information out of them questions and don't push towards the Shakeology information until you know their story, so that you can, because you can't show them value until you know what they need. So when I find out that he spends $35 a week on junk food and he hates that, then when I tell him, what if I got you something that was $4 a day that was actually healthy for you and was convenient, he sees value. And so he's like, wow, that would save me money,
One thing I try and focus on too is, and I learned this from Lisa Madsen, but I tell people, hey, my coaching is free. Sometimes I start there, and some people, they're not ready for even P90. And so it's like, hey, walk for 10 minutes, and text me and let me know you walked. And so that they know they have a kind of an accountability partner. But I start coaching them. And then when they're ready for kind of something more, and some of those people still continue not to buy things, but I'm still helping people. But enough come back that I think it's worth that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
What else we got? Anybody else got questions on these basic 4 things that we do every day to be more awesome?
Actually, Ryan, can you give me the information about the audio for Jim Rohn again?
Yes. In your Coach Online office, if you go in there, I might be able to screen share this with you guys. Let's see if I can do that. That would be fun. Look how high tech we are. Share screen. Oh, don't look at my volume. Where are we at now here? Okay, can you guys see the Coach Online office right now? Okay. And there's this success tab right here. Hit success tab. And there is so much personal development in the success tab. You could probably never buy another audiobook or book again for the next 10 years, and you'd have stuff to listen to. I mean, there's so much stuff in here, okay? But if you just go to this search tab, the search box right here, and type in Jim Rohn, Jimrohn, it will bring up a list. Go down to, okay, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. So there's Jim Rohn on adventures and achievement in a whole bunch of parts. You got to keep going down. It's somewhere down here. Jim Rohn on the value of discipline, Jim Rohn on communication. There it is. So this one that says Jim Rohn on building a network marketing business, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 parts to it. They're broken down into MP3s that are about 3 to 4 minutes a piece.
Awesome. Okay.
So you can just go in there, click on that, listen to that 4 minutes, and then go to the next one. And I think there's an option to download them to an MP3 file so you could put it on your iPod or something like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my coach Leona gave me GoPro already. So,
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to stop that share right there. Who else has got anything? We got time if people want to ask questions or chat about things or ideas or anything. Nobody? It's all right if we got nothing else. It's definitely some things to chew on for sure. Alrighty, well, I'm going to have another call tomorrow night at 7. If you've got some other, some coaches in your downline or some, you could even bring on people. I'd be happy for you guys to bring on people that are potential coaches who want to know what it is we do as coaches. That's perfectly fine. I don't think there was much that we talked about in here that wouldn't be okay for a potential coach to listen to. So if you guys want to bring that on, that's fine too. Or if there were coaches that couldn't make this call that would be good to be on here, encourage them to be on here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific. That's kind of late for East Coasters, but it gives people another option. So thank you all for being on tonight, and let's go kill it in 2015.
All right. Thanks.